Welcome back everyone, we are finally entering the electric era with the release of Andoris and Belka double banner at the start, which may not feel ideal for a lot of players trying to pick up everyone and lacking the needed pulls. But if you are trying to build an electric team on budget, Andoris might be the better pick between these two to start with. I think she is a new GFL2 exclusive doll release and isn't from the previous OG Girls Frontline series, correct me if I'm wrong. But she has been a player favorite with both her design and hot mommy vibes, and her gameplay potential is also on par for you to consider pulling for her. I do want to mention that we just recently completed two of the top global meta comps, the Burn and the Hydro Corrosion, and Andoris is the gateway to a completely new electric meta comp that's upcoming. And I have seen a lot of people, especially those who already have these multiple endgame ready comps, not much interested in electric at all, or are opting to completely skip electric dolls altogether. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think if you have got really good teams already built, they can carry you through all of the upcoming patches. But do remember that these upcoming patches will probably heavily favor electric dolls a lot, so be prepared. And like I said, if you are interested to pick up a few electric dolls to help you out in the meantime, Andoris will be a very low cost, low investment unit for that purpose, even for F2Ps. With that being said, in this video we'll check out her kit, build, weapons, teams, etc. to see her optimal pulling values for your accounts. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, like always, I start with the TLDR discussion. Andoris is an assault rifle user electric bulwark unit. This is the second limited tank unit we got in the game after Perry from the Burn team, but unlike Perry, Andoris seems to be much more versatile. Although she is definitely best suited to be in the electric team because of a lot of the core mechanics, we can see her being used outside as well in CN, in other hybrid teams or even completely non-electric teams as a flex support position. Well, she is a tank by role, but her core mechanism revolves around two strategies: her turret summons and her ability to share damage with allies. Like we saw with Nikita's pet dog just now, Andoris can also summon units on the field, and these are automatic turrets, and she can summon multiple of these. We'll see how they work later on, but they are definitely useful not only as extra attacker units, but can also be used to take aggro from enemies and act as damage sponges. Besides these, Andoris can also heal allies, provide allies stability protection and electric damage buffs. She is very much an all-rounder offensive and defensive support type unit, although officially classified as a tank. And the best part is, you do not need a single dupe to get the best results from her. Andoris is a complete unit at V0, and in fact it is highly recommended to not go above V0 at all, not even V1. We know and have seen that Micah likes to make these core support type units really good at V1 to incentivize going for those dupes for everyone, but Andoris is definitely an outlier and you are better off at V0. Unless you are wailing for her V6, which I don't suppose a lot of you are going to anyway. Her dupes like V1, V2 etc. are definitely not bad by any means and do make her better in general, but if you are trying to build her at a low investment efficiently, you need to remember you are not getting her to do damage. It's to provide the sustainability to your team as well as some offensive buffs, which she does perfectly at V0, and as we will see later in the detailed discussion, V1 especially can even be considered bad when you are planning to play her in an electric comp with Leva as the hyper carry. Also, as a low investment unit, she can do perfectly fine with any of your AR weapons and don't really need her signature, which is another positive. So if you are planning to build an Electro team, or even if not and you want a generally good tanky sustain option for any of your teams, Andoris is one of the top tier choices for you. That's the end of the TLDR, and now we'll check out her skill kit in details to see how she actually works. Let's get into it. Starting with skill 1, she can summon an auto turret in 3 tile radius. There can be at most 2 auto turrets on the field. So if there's 2 already, you can still use the skill to replace the older of those 2 turrets to a new position. This skill costs 3 confectance energy, but when any turret dies you get 1 energy back. And you can use this skill back to back, so you can summon both turrets in the same turn. But now we need to know what those auto turrets are and what do they do. Let's see. Auto turrets spawn with 50% of Andoris' initial HP and attack and 100% of her defense. They automatically attack at the end of Andoris' turn. Their basic attack is a single target electric damage with 100% multiplier and applies negative charge to the enemy for 2 turns. They have 2 passives. One of them says they can't be healed, shielded etc. but they are immune to any CC. and the other says they apply the same negative charge to 2 enemy targets within 6 tiles at the end of their action. Okay, not so complicated, but what the hell is a negative charge, you may ask? The electric meta's core mechanism revolves around the positive and negative charge system. Almost all of the limited electric unit skills are related to these mechanics, and this is their unique gimmick. You can simply think of positive charge as a useful electric type buff for allies, and negative charge as a bad electric type debuff for enemies. Units with the positive charge buff heals 20% of their max HP at the end of their action. If there are other allies with positive charge buff within 3 tile radius, they heal 15% more, so a 35% healing at the end of action. If they do electric damage to an enemy with negative charge debuff on them, they deal 35% more damage, which can be triggered 3 times per round by a unit with this buff. So while the healing thing is beneficial to everyone, electric units can take the most advantage of this buff. On the other hand, as mentioned, negative charge is a debuff on the enemies and they take more electric damage from units with the positive charge buff, as we just learned. Not only that, when this enemy receives single target electric damage, all units with the negative charge debuff takes 30% of that attack as fixed damage. If negative charge is applied again on an enemy with it, they take another fixed damage equal to 3% of the attacker's attack. That's the core mechanic, and now you can easily see that in an electric comp, you basically want to have positive charge on you and keep attacking enemies with negative charge on them, and Andoris's auto turrets help apply and reapply negative charge on the enemies. Let's move on to her skill 2. It's a single target electric damage in 7 tile range with a 110% multiplier to Andoris's attack, but she applies a debuff called Electro charge onto the enemy for 2 turns before attacking. What this does is that with this debuff, the enemy takes more stability damage when receiving single target electric damage, and also the attacker heals themselves for 20% of the damage dealt. Another useful debuff to the whole electric team. Her ultimate skill restores 8 stability to her and gives her fortified stance for 2 rounds, which basically reduces her normal damage taken and stability damage taken, but she can no longer be protected by cover on the field. If the enemy attacking her has electric debuffs, her damage taken is reduced even more. This is cool for her, but that's not all. She also gives 2 stacks of shelter and 3 turns of positive charge to all allies with her ultimate as well. You all know what shelter is from Groza, basically just stability protection, and we also learned about positive charge as well. Her passive is also really essential. It gives her a cheat death mechanic at the start of battle, so she can't die when taking fatal damage, instead restores 30% of her max HP and 5 stability. That's a giga clutch passive. But again, that's not all. One of her core mechanic is from this passive. Whenever allies with the positive charge buff takes damage, Andoris shares 45% of the original damage. This is where a tank role comes to shine. And when she attacks an enemy with the negative charge debuff, she heals 20% more of her max HP. That's not all either. Whenever she receives damage, she heals even more 5% of her max HP, gains 1 confectance energy, and applies 1 stack of a new buff called Blunted Nerves to herself and all the auto turrets on the field, which gives them 10% more defense per stack. If she is not protected by cover, she takes 1 stability damage to reduce the normal damage onto her by 20%. So now you see how many self-sustainability mechanisms are there to keep her healthy and up while still healing and buffing the other allies. And all of this is at V0, that's why she is a top tier unit in general. Speaking of her vertebrae levels, we already mentioned that there's no need, in fact you should be stopping at V0. All of her core mechanics are available to you at V0 and she is a complete unit. But I do want to touch on some good dupes and their values, especially V1, V2 and V6. Well, V1 is a bit controversial, I don't know. It basically improves the auto turrets, increases their summon range, attack range and damage, but also gives them a new passive. They can now support attack before an ally does a single target electric damage to an enemy within range, and puts the negative charge debuff on them for 2 turns. This sounds good. Where's the problem then? The problem comes when you use Leva as the hyper carry of your electric team. She has a mechanic to do more damage to enemies that are stability broken, and she does support attacks whenever negative charge is applied onto enemies. Now with the new passive, the auto turrets apply negative charge right at the start instead of at the end of turn, which means the enemy probably won't be stability broken and you will miss out on the extra damage from Leva's support attacks with that. That's the issue. So you gotta take that into consideration. But otherwise it's a good dupe nonetheless, will boost your damage a bit but not a lot, so overall isn't really that important. Her V2 is also a good one that gives allies more buffs and gives her more sustainability, but if you are not going for V1 then it's pointless to discuss V2 and it's not really a wise investment to go for V2 and stop there for these buffs. The investment required doesn't satisfy the output we get. So the final breakpoint is max dupe at V6. Anyone at max dupe is good. Now you can have 3 turrets on the field and each one provides 10% attack boost to electric damage from allies, so a 30% total boost, which is incredible for your electric team. And you also get the option to use other skills after summoning a turret on the same turn instead of previously being able to use only skill 1 back to back. Let's talk about her weapon choices now. Her signature weapon Aglaya is really fitting for her and also it boosts your own as well as allies' electric damage output. But since she is not the main damage dealing unit in your roster and also electric dolls usually have a lot of self boosts, it's not really that important or needed to invest more on her. You can just give her your Golden Melody standard SSR weapon for the time being and that would be sufficient. The Battle Pass weapon Guerno can also be an option on her for the added healing, but it's a paid option nonetheless. And if you are a gambling man, you can try to get her SR signature from her weapon banner within 10-20 pulls. It's got the same trait as her SSR signature and is a really good low investment fit too. But I would never recommend to gamble on a weapon banner, especially for the SR one. That is up to your free will. Now moving on to her build. Look, you can definitely use LA support as the tank weapon attachment set to make her more bulky, but what have we learned about the set till now? We ain't got that many spaces in our bag and you don't need to farm a new attachment set. Just slap the phase strike set on her and call it a day. It's the universal choice, the only one you should be farming and you probably already got a bunch of them. We do want to make her a bit tanky with the substats on it, so the priorities are HP %, then defense %, then flat HP followed by flat defense on her. You want to target around 1500 plus attack is fine, at least 5k plus HP and about 1200 plus defense for an endgame full build. Her best in slot fixed keys are Careful Listening, so she starts with full energy, Shared Intelligence to give all allies positive charge at the start of battle, and Advanced Scouting to put Electro Charge debuff onto the boss enemy at the start as well. As for the common keys besides her own, she can use Centaroisi, Macchiato and Suomi's common keys or any HP % and defense % keys. Her skill rotation is not very difficult. You only need to be mindful about the auto turrets. As you can see, you start by deploying both your turrets turn 1, followed by skill 2 and then ult. After that, you just keep using them as available. Reminder that if any of your turret dies or you need to switch position of any, you can use skill 1 again to do so in any turn as needed. As she is an electric type unit with the positive and negative charge mechanics in her kit, she is best suited to be played in the electric core comp to be the most effective. But we don't have all of them available now. As of now in CN, I think the most popular electric team comp looks something like this, with Lena and Jianghu alongside her, as well as a Leva hypercarry that you can borrow from your platoon. And a V3 Yuhi usually accompanies the team for a defense reduction and extra sustainability. But the F2P option Xenia can also be seen as well. If sustainability is not a problem, a V4 plus Mosin Nagant can be added to boost damage and make a full electric team. But right now we ain't got any of them, so feel free to test her out by replacing the sustain option in your already existing teams. If you are pulling Belka too, Andoris plus Belka could also be a very useful duo to build a hybrid team around with the Burn Core, Hydro Core or Corrosion Core, etc. That's about everything for her review, and we have reached the final recommendation. And it would be V0 Andoris for everyone, F2P or not. Unless you are completely decided on skipping all electric, you really want to have Andoris in your team if you want to keep the door towards building an electric team open. And V0 is enough for that. No need to pull her signature weapon, that's just extra investment which is not necessary, especially right now as we keep getting accelerated patches. If you are a whale who's been waiting for Andoris and want to build the best electric team possible, just go V6 at that point, max her out and also get her signature weapon then. Nothing to explain here. So that's it. That concludes our review of Andoris. She is the gateway to the electric meta team composition, and if you are interested in that, go get her. I have a lot of pulls saved up, so I will also probably pick a copy of her, but do let me know what's your plan. Are you pulling, skipping, saving for Boymaslina V6, or you have quit the game but still watching the video? If it's the last case, big shout out to you. In any case, if you have enjoyed this video and found it helpful, feel free to drop a like and subscribe and hit the new hype button. That also helps my channel. And if you want to directly show your support, you always have the option to join the channel membership or send a super thanks. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more Girls Frontline content, and I will catch you later. Goodbye.